Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is where we dig into science-backed ways to live stronger, healthier, and more intentionally without the hype or quick fixes. Today, we're diving into something that might surprise you. One of the most overlooked ways to hold on to your muscle mass doesn't happen in the gym or even during your meals throughout the day. It happens in your kitchen, right before you hit the pillow. Yes, I'm talking about bedtime nutrition. And it's a game changer for anyone who wants to stay strong, mobile, and vibrant as they age. So grab a cup of tea, get comfy, and let's unpack this together. We're going to explore why what you eat before bed could be a secret weapon for preserving muscle, especially if you're over 40 or just noticing that keeping muscle feels harder than it used to. This isn't about some trendy diet or a magic protein shake you chug at midnight. It's about understanding how your body works, specifically how nutrition, sleep, and muscle biology interact during the night. By the end of this video, you'll have practical, evidence-based tools to make small changes that can add up to big results. Let's get into it. First, let's set the stage. Muscle isn't just about looking good or lifting heavy weights. It's metabolic gold. Your muscles are like a savings account for your health. They regulate blood sugar, boost insulin sensitivity, protect your bones, and play a massive role in how well you age. Did you know that low muscle mass is a stronger predictor of mortality than obesity in older adults? That's right, muscle loss can impact your longevity more than carrying extra weight. Starting around age 30, most of us lose about 3 to 8% of our muscle mass per decade. By the time you hit 60, that loss can make everyday tasks, like climbing stairs, carrying groceries, or even keeping your balance, feel harder than they should. This isn't just a problem for bodybuilders or athletes, it's a reality for all of us. Less muscle means less strength, more fatigue, and a higher risk of falls or injuries. But here's the good news. Muscle loss isn't inevitable. While aging plays a role, it's our choices around food, movement, and recovery that can slow, stop, or even reverse this decline. So what's going on when we lose muscle? One key player is something called anabolic resistance. As we age, our muscles become less responsive to the signals that tell them to grow or repair. Think of it like a radio with a weak signal. You have to turn up the volume to hear the music clearly. For your muscles, that volume comes from the right nutrition at the right time, paired with the right kind of movement. And one of the most critical times, the hours you spend sleeping. Let's talk about sleep for a second. When you're dreaming, your body isn't just chilling, it's in repair mode. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, repairs DNA, rebuilds tissues, and yes, works on muscle protein synthesis, the process of building and repairing muscle tissue. But here's the catch. Your body can't do this effectively without the right raw materials. Specifically, amino acids from protein. If you finish dinner at 6 p.m. and go to bed at 11 p.m., your body might run low on those amino acids by the time it's ready to do its overnight repair work. That's where bedtime nutrition comes in. One of the most fascinating studies on this comes from Maastricht University in the Netherlands. Researchers took a group of healthy, older men and gave them a modest dose of casein protein, about 40 grams, 30 minutes before bed, after a full day of activity and a standard dinner. They compared this group to a placebo group who didn't get the protein. The results? The protein group showed significantly higher rates of overnight muscle protein synthesis. In other words, just by shifting when they consumed protein closer to sleep, their bodies were better able to hold on to muscle while they slept. Now, before you start chugging protein shakes at 10 p.m., let's be clear. This isn't about overloading your system. The takeaway is that when you eat protein can be just as important as how much you eat, especially as you age. For younger folks, a 15-gram protein snack might be enough to spark muscle growth. But for those of us over 40, 50, or beyond, anabolic resistance means we might need closer to 30 grams. And we need to time it strategically, like after a workout, or yes, before bed. So what does a muscle-preserving bedtime snack look like? The key is slow digesting proteins that release amino acids gradually throughout the night, keeping your muscles fueled during that critical repair window. Casein found in dairy products like Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. is a classic example because it digests slowly, providing a steady stream of amino acids. But if you're plant-based or just want variety, don't worry, there are plenty of options. Think about a small bowl of unsweetened Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of chia seeds, or a scoop of pea protein blended with water or almond milk. You could try a handful of edamame, a small portion of lentil soup, or even a smoothie with a plant-based protein blend, like pea and rice protein, and a few berries for flavor. These aren't heavy, bodybuilder-style meals. They're light, sleep-friendly snacks designed to work with your body's natural rhythms. Why does this matter? Because eating a big, heavy meal right before bed can mess with your sleep quality, which actually undermines muscle recovery. Poor sleep increases stress hormones like cortisol, which can break down muscle tissue faster than you're building it. So the goal is balance. Enough protein to fuel repair, but not so much food that you're tossing and turning all night. Now you might be thinking, hold up, doesn't eating before bed make you gain weight? This is one of the biggest myths in nutrition, and it's time to set it straight. Studies like those from the NIH and Tufts University show that weight gain is driven by total calorie intake, not when you eat. In fact, a small, high-protein snack before bed can actually help with weight maintenance by curbing late-night cravings and stabilizing blood sugar, which leads to better sleep and less hunger the next morning. Here's a real-world tip to get started. Try a protein-focused snack 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Maybe it's a small serving of cottage cheese with a few sliced almonds, or a plant-based protein shake with no added sugar. Pay attention to how you feel. Your sleep quality, your energy the next morning, even your muscle soreness if you're active. Quality matters here, so skip the sugary protein bars or processed shakes. You want whole, minimally processed foods that nourish your body, not stress it out. This conversation isn't just about muscle, it's about vitality. It's about being able to play with your kids or grandkids, carry your own groceries, or just feel strong in your body as you age. And if you're plant-based, there's an added bonus. Choosing proteins like pea, soy, or lentils isn't just good for your muscles, it's better for the planet. The carbon footprint of plant-based proteins is a fraction of that of dairy or meat, so this small choice can ripple outward in a big way. Before we wrap up this first part, let's reflect for a second. What's one small change you could make tonight to support your muscles? Maybe it's swapping your usual late-night snack for something protein-rich, or just being more intentional about what you eat after dinner. Small shifts like this add up over time, and they're not about perfection, they're about progress. This is just the beginning. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into anabolic resistance, why protein quality and timing matter more as you age, and how insulin plays a surprising role in muscle preservation. If you're finding this helpful, please hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and consider subscribing. It helps us keep bringing you this kind of evidence-based, no-nonsense content. I'll see you in part 2, but let me know when you're ready for it. Welcome back, everyone. If you caught part 1, you know we're diving deep into how bedtime nutrition can be a game changer for preserving muscle mass as we age. If you're just joining us, don't worry. You can jump right in, but I'd recommend checking out part 1 for the full context. Today, we're taking it a step further, unpacking how anabolic resistance changes the game as we get older, why protein timing is critical, and how insulin, yes, insulin, plays a surprising role in keeping your muscles strong. This is all about practical science-backed strategies to help you stay vibrant, mobile, and independent, whether you're in your 30s, 50s, or 70s. So, let's settle in and get to it. Let's start with a term that's becoming more common in nutrition science: anabolic resistance. It sounds technical, but it's actually pretty straightforward. As we age, our muscles become less sensitive to the signals that trigger growth or repair. Imagine your muscles are like a phone with a spotty connection. The signal, in this case protein, has to be stronger and clearer to get through. This is why the same protein shake that helped you build muscle in your 20s might only maintain it in your 50s or 60s. It's not a flaw in your body, it's just part of the aging process, driven by things like oxidative stress, hormonal shifts, declining mitochondrial function, and often less physical activity. A 2021 review in the journal Nutrients laid this out clearly. Older adults need about 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day to preserve muscle mass, way more than the standard recommended dietary allowance, RDA, of 0.8 grams per kilogram, which was designed to prevent deficiency, not optimize muscle health. For a 150-pound person, that's roughly 80 to 110 grams of protein daily, compared to the RDA's 54 grams. That's a big gap, and it's why just eating enough isn't enough as you age. You need to be strategic. But here's where it gets interesting. It's not just about how much protein you eat, it's about when and how you eat it. Studies show that older adults who spread their protein intake evenly across 3 meals, say 25 to 30 grams per meal, see better muscle protein synthesis than those who load up on protein at dinner and skimp on breakfast or lunch. Why? It has to do with something called the leucine threshold. Leucine is an amino acid that acts like a key, unlocking the mTOR signaling pathway, which tells your muscles to build and repair. Younger people might hit this threshold with 15 to 20 grams of protein per meal, but older adults often need closer to 30 grams to get the same effect. So, how do you apply this in real life? Let's say you're 60, active a few times a week, and want to keep your strength. Instead of piling all your protein into one big dinner, think a massive steak or a huge bowl of pasta with a little chicken, you'd do better to spread it out. Here's an example day. Breakfast: oatmeal with soy milk, a scoop of chia seeds, some walnuts, and a side of tofu scramble. That's about 25 to 30 grams of protein. Lunch: a quinoa salad with lentils, roasted veggies, and a tahini dressing, another 25 to 30 grams. Dinner: stir-fried tempeh with brown rice and broccoli, plus a cup of edamame, around 30 grams. Before bed, a light snack, like a small serving of Greek yogurt or a plant-based protein shake with no added sugar. That's 15 to 20 grams. This approach hits your total protein needs, spreads it evenly to maximize muscle synthesis, and includes that bedtime snack we talked about in part 1 to support overnight repair. It's not about eating more, it's about eating smarter, aligning your food with your body's natural rhythms. And here's the empowering part. Even with anabolic resistance, your muscles are still responsive. A fascinating study from the Finnish twin cohort looked at identical twins with different activity levels over decades. The more active twins, even in their 70s, had more muscle mass, better insulin sensitivity, and lower inflammation than their less active siblings, despite having the same genes. This tells us that while aging is inevitable, how you age is heavily influenced by your choices. Nutrition, movement, and timing are your levers. Now, let's talk about insulin. If you've spent any time in diet culture, you might think insulin is the bad guy, blamed for fat gain or metabolic issues. But when it comes to muscle, insulin is a hero. It's an anabolic hormone, meaning it helps build things, not just fat but muscle too. After you eat, insulin rises, shuttling amino acids into your muscle cells to promote repair and growth while slowing down muscle breakdown, which is happening constantly in the background. But here's the catch. As we age, especially if we're sedentary, eating ultra-processed foods, or carrying excess visceral fat, we can become insulin resistant. This means your muscle cells don't respond as well to insulin signals, leading to less amino acid uptake and more muscle breakdown over time. This slow, subtle shift contributes to sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle that increases frailty and metabolic disease risk. The good news? Insulin resistance isn't a life sentence. Research, like the Predimed trial in Spain, which followed over 7,000 adults, showed that a Mediterranean-style diet, rich in plant-based fats, fiber, and polyphenols, from foods like legumes, whole grains, and vegetables, improves insulin sensitivity. Plant-predominant diets, not necessarily vegan, just heavy on plants, are linked to lower rates of type 2 diabetes and better glucose control, partly because they reduce intramyocellular fat inside muscle cells that messes with insulin signaling. Why does this matter at night? Because poor blood sugar control after dinner can blunt your body's overnight repair processes. If your blood sugar stays high or insulin isn't working efficiently while you sleep, your body focuses on managing glucose instead of rebuilding muscle. So, a practical tip? Aim for balanced, moderate dinners with a mix of protein, healthy fats, and fiber. Think lentils over barley with leafy greens and a drizzle of olive oil, rather than a carb-heavy pizza or sugary dessert. This smooths out post-meal glucose spikes, supports insulin sensitivity, and sets the stage for better muscle repair overnight. Hey everyone, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into preserving muscle mass as we age. If you've been with us for parts 1 and 2, you're already armed with some powerful insights about bedtime nutrition, protein timing, and insulin's role in keeping your muscles strong. If you're just joining, no worries. This part stands on its own, but I'd recommend catching up on the earlier videos for the full picture. Today we're tying it all together with 3 key pieces: resistance training, sleep, and the surprising role of your gut microbiome. These aren't just add-ons, they're essential parts of the muscle preservation puzzle. Let's dive in with a conversational, science-backed approach to help you stay strong, mobile, and thriving for years to come. Let's kick things off with movement. If protein is the bricks for building muscle, resistance training is the blueprint that tells your body where to put them. Without that signal, even the best nutrition plan won't fully deliver. Resistance training, whether it's lifting weights, using resistance bands, or doing body weight exercises like squats or push-ups, tells your body, hey, we need this muscle, keep it strong. And the science backs this up in a big way. A study in Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise followed older adults who did progressive resistance training just twice a week, paired with a modest increase in protein intake, around 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. The results? They gained lean muscle mass, improved strength, and boosted mobility, and they kept those benefits with consistent training and nutrition over time. The best part? You don't need a fancy gym or a personal trainer to make this work. Bodyweight exercises like wall push-ups, chair squats, or resistance band rows are accessible, effective, and scalable for any fitness level. The key here is progressive overload, which just means gradually challenging your muscles a little more over time. Maybe you start with 10 squats and work up to 15, or add a light resistance band to your routine. This keeps the stimulus alive, signaling your body to maintain or even build muscle. And when you pair this with the protein strategies we talked about, like a bedtime snack or evenly spaced protein meals, you're creating a powerful synergy. Your muscles become more responsive to the amino acids you're feeding them, amplifying the effects of both nutrition and exercise. Here's a practical tip. Try a 15-minute bodyweight workout in the early evening, a couple of times a week. Think squats, push-ups, or resistance band pulls. It doesn't have to be intense, just consistent. Notice how your body feels after a few weeks, especially if you're also timing your protein intake strategically. You might feel stronger, less sore, and more energized. Now, let's talk about sleep, because it's not just a break between workouts, it's where the real magic of muscle repair happens. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, a key player in muscle regeneration. It repairs DNA, rebuilds tissues, and ramps up muscle protein synthesis, but only if it has the amino acids available from your diet. Without good sleep, even the perfect nutrition and exercise plan falls short. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that just 1 week of sleep restriction, think 5 hours a night instead of 7 or 8, reduced muscle protein synthesis by nearly 20%. That's a massive hit to your body's repair system, and over time, it adds up. Another meta-analysis in sleep health linked poor sleep quality to lower muscle strength and higher frailty, especially in older adults. It's not just about how many hours you get, it's about the quality of those hours. Interrupted or shallow sleep cuts down on the time you spend in deep restorative stages where the real repair work happens. So, how do you set yourself up for better sleep? It starts with the choices we've already talked about. Resistance training, even a short session, can improve sleep onset and duration because your body craves rest after exertion. Eating a balanced dinner with fiber, protein, and healthy fats, like a lentil stir-fry with veggies, helps stabilize blood sugar and calms your nervous system at night. Avoiding heavy meals, excess alcohol, or sugary snacks close to bedtime reduces nighttime awakenings and improves sleep architecture, the structure of your sleep cycles. Here's where our bedtime snack comes back into play. A light, protein-rich snack 30 to 60 minutes before bed, like Greek yogurt with seeds or a plant-based protein shake, can do double duty. Not only does it provide amino acids for muscle repair, but foods rich in tryptophan, like oats, seeds, or yogurt, may support serotonin and melatonin production, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. It's a win-win. Better sleep, better muscle recovery. Try this. Stack your evening routine. Do a short workout, eat a balanced dinner, wind down with a relaxing ritual, maybe some stretching or reading, and finish with a small, protein-rich snack. This trifecta, movement, nourishment, and rest, builds a foundation for long-term muscle preservation without feeling like a chore. Now, let's talk about something you might not expect: your gut microbiome. Those trillions of microbes in your digestive tract aren't just there to break down food, they're silent partners in your muscle health. This emerging area of research is blowing minds in the science world, and it's worth paying attention to. Your gut plays a huge role in nutrient absorption. It's not just about what you eat, it's about what your body can actually use. If your gut is inflamed or your microbial diversity is low, you might absorb fewer amino acids, vitamins, and minerals critical for muscle repair, like B12, iron, or magnesium. But it goes deeper. Certain gut bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, like butyrate, propionate, and acetate. These compounds reduce inflammation, strengthen your gut barrier, and, here's the wild part, can influence muscle protein synthesis through complex interactions with your immune and endocrine systems. Animal studies have shown that mice with disrupted microbiomes have reduced muscle mass and strength, even with enough protein. When their gut health was restored with fiber or probiotics, their muscle function improved. Human studies are still catching up, but early evidence is promising. A study in Frontiers in Nutrition found that older adults with more diverse microbiomes had better muscle strength and physical function, regardless of their age, weight, or diet. So how do you feed your gut to support your muscles? It starts with diet quality. Foods rich in fermentable fiber, think legumes, oats, bananas, garlic, onions, and leafy greens, feed the beneficial bacteria that produce SCFAs. These same foods are linked to lower inflammation, better metabolic health, and faster recovery from exercise. On the flip side, ultra-processed foods, think sugary snacks, refined grains, or anything with synthetic emulsifiers, can reduce microbial diversity and increase gut permeability, sometimes called leaky gut. This lets unwanted molecules into your bloodstream, triggering low-grade inflammation that accelerates muscle loss, a process tied to inflammaging, the chronic inflammation that comes with aging. Don't sleep on polyphenols either. Plant compounds in berries, herbs, teas, and dark-colored veggies. They act like prebiotics, supporting your microbiome while reducing oxidative stress and aiding cellular repair. And let's not forget fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, miso, tempeh, sauerkraut, or kimchi. Even small amounts can introduce beneficial bacteria and boost digestion. Here's a real-world meal idea. Try a tempeh stir-fry with garlic, onions, broccoli, and bell peppers, served over a bed of kimchi. You're getting protein, fiber, polyphenols, prebiotics, and probiotics all in one plate, supporting your gut, your muscles, and your overall health. A simple goal to start: aim for 30 different plant foods per week, a benchmark from the American Gut Project that's linked to greater microbial diversity. Think lentils, chickpeas, quinoa, spinach, almonds, blueberries. Mix it up and have fun with it. Let's zoom out. Preserving muscle isn't just about staying strong. It's about longevity and independence. It's about climbing stairs without huffing, carrying your groceries with ease, or staying active with the people you love. But there's an ethical angle here too. When you prioritize whole, plant-rich foods, like legumes, nuts, or seeds, you're not just feeding your body, you're choosing foods with a lower environmental footprint, supporting a food system that's kinder to the planet. Producing a kilogram of pea protein generates a fraction of the greenhouse gases compared to beef or dairy. That's personal health and planetary health in one bite. This approach is what I call stealth nutrition. It's not about obsessing over macros or chasing a certain body type. It's about eating colorful whole foods that nourish your muscles, your gut, and your values. It's health through nourishment, not restriction. So here's your challenge for the week. Pick one change to support your muscle preservation. Maybe it's a short evening workout, a gut-friendly dinner with extra veggies, or that protein-rich bedtime snack we've been talking about. Pay attention to how it feels, not just physically, but mentally. Your energy, your mood, your strength. Your body is always giving you feedback, so listen to it. To recap this series, muscle loss isn't just about aging, it's about the choices we make. A bedtime protein snack timed right can fuel overnight repair. Anabolic resistance means we need to be strategic with protein quality and distribution. Insulin protects muscles, so supporting it with whole foods and movement is key. Resistance training and sleep are non-negotiable for recovery. And your gut microbiome? It's a behind-the-scenes hero for nutrient absorption and inflammation control. Together, these pieces form a rhythm, a sustainable way to stay strong without extremes. If this science-backed, values-driven approach resonates with you, I'd love for you to join our community. Hit that like button, drop a comment with one change you're excited to try, and consider subscribing. We're not about fads here. We're about building tools for a stronger, healthier, more intentional life. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.